I'm your host, Sarah Smith, and this is Dirty Strength Radio. This is a show about cultivating whole body resilient strength in the modern world. From fitness to farming, food production, and faith, we are talking about how to desanitize our lives and fitness practices, connect to the earth, and have sharp minds, strong bodies, and great character. Hey guys, thank you for coming back and joining us for another episode of Dirty Strength Radio. I know you're going to love this episode. Today, I have a super special guest. Lisa Pfeiffer of Peaches Skincare is joining us on the show today, and she's going to be talking all about beauty and skincare and things that I just know that you need to hear about how to take care of yourself and just how to understand the biology of your skin. So Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am so pumped to have you here. People that follow me on social media, I've shared your stuff before. I've literally directly DM'd your YouTube channel to women in the past. So I'd love if you would just take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, your background, and what it is that you do so people can quickly begin to understand why I'm featuring you on the show.
Well, I am an anomaly. I am a holistic master esthetician of almost 4 decades. I teach beauty and aging and healthy skin naturally. So unlike a physician, I have to look at the skin in a natural way. I can't just give you a pill or do something invasive. So I teach you how to take care of your skin naturally. I teach what is called wabi-sabi. And from my perspective, that's embracing the imperfections of life in ourself and in aging, which I think is a beautiful gift, but the beauty industry and social media is really frightening, especially younger men and women more than anything. They're making them afraid to age. They're throwing everything at us every day to not have a wrinkle, not have an expression. And so I really turn all of that upside down, and I teach you that a lot of what you are being taught is absolutely wrong, or, well, absolutely wrong. And I always tell everyone on my YouTube channel that you can trust me because I have been doing this for almost 4 decades. It's been almost 37 years, and I have literally touched hundreds of thousands of clients. And if you do things the way that I teach, you get an incredible result every time. So it's kind of like a little science experiment I've been doing all this time.
That's amazing. I love that you're a master esthetician, because there are a lot of people online, I mean, just in the beauty industry, right? But definitely working online and selling skincare products and talking about skin, that they don't have the expertise and the training to support the things that they're saying. And quite frankly, like half of them are like 30. And I'm just like, well, what do you know?
But you've nailed it. They have no practical knowledge of skin. It's more of a hobby for them. And what amazes me is how many people are listening to them, how many people are going to them like they're the guru. And really, they're basing their results or their information on only their skin, and or they are young. They really have not had a journey in skin yet, or again, no practical knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. That was a thing that it stuck out to me about you right away, because I'll say, you guys, one of the reasons that I found Lisa was that I turned 40 and I started looking at my skin. I actually have a friend that makes skincare products, and we were having a conversation one day, and she was like, she's a tell like it is. And she was like, you're very dry. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you need to do something. So I went and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, I started seeing creases, and I started noticing like my forehead wrinkles, and I went back through photos on my phone and everything, because I take a lot of pictures of myself and I'm in fitness and everything. And I was like, oh, and this has been going on for a while. And somehow I had not seen it, but then I saw it, and then I couldn't not see it. And I was like, what do I do? And I'm 41, and most women that are 41 are doing Botox and fillers and invasive stuff. And that just isn't me, for a number of different reasons, which I hope we can talk about some of the, the downsides of that. So I was like, there has to be something else. So I went furiously looking for answers. I've done this so many times in my life. I've done this with gut health issues. I did this with pelvic floor, which my audience knows is one of my specialties. And I was like, there has to be something out there that is going to be a philosophy that helps me to still trust and love my body while improving its function, right? And
Yes.
and I found you, and like your introduction and all your videos explains like your background, what it is, and that you don't wear foundation. And I
Right.
saw your face, and I'm not a makeup person. I've never really worn a lot of makeup, but I started wondering, like, like I said, like, is it just the age where I'm going to have to start wearing more makeup and doing invasive stuff, or just suck it up and deal with the fact that I'm going to look like a weathered handbag, you know? Um,
Yes.
so I found you, and I watched your videos, and I started doing, I think you were doing like a skincare challenge. I did one of your skincare challenges, and I started seeing results almost immediately. And that
Immediate.
wasn't even with your products. And we can totally talk about your products, but this was just simple stuff you were telling me I could use in my pantry for
Yes.
my skin. And so I was like, okay, people need to know about Lisa. We need to talk about skin. She needs to come on the show, because I want women, and I know you do too, to understand that there's more let's see, there's alternatives to the loudest
Yes.
methods and technologies and things that are being pushed the most in our face, so
Absolutely. I think that as women, we are being sold a lie. We are told from a very young age, put on makeup because you're not beautiful without it. So we have teenagers piling foundation and concealer on their face. We know from, and it's been published in the Journal of Medicine, that we do most of our damage in our early years. So about 20 to 22. And so we've already damaged it with the sun, with not learning how to care for our skin. But then I have to really say women, especially, again, are made to feel that they're not beautiful without tons of makeup. And then our skin, it has these really great things that it does for us. It protects the bones and muscles. It regulates the temperature of the body, but it also is the body's way to filter all of the impurities out of our body, is through the skin. But we're not really taught that. We're just taught to cover, cover, cover. And then as we get older, as women, we're told, you're not valuable. You're not beautiful if you have a wrinkle. I don't have my hair down today, and I want to touch on, I have no foundation and concealer on. I'm only wearing a little blush and a little lip gloss and eyeliner. And what you see is a woman who is going to be 56 in a few weeks, and this is real skin. If you see a wrinkle, it's from maybe a tear that, tears I cried for something. I don't know. It might be paddleboarding out on the ocean because I'm a very active person. It might be just my age, and age is a beautiful thing. But we're told as women that change yourself, don't have a wrinkle, don't have an expression, make your lips, puffed up. Like, I hope that I can say this. I feel like it almost looks like a sexual organ, and I hope I'm okay.
It's true.
I feel horrible. I think that some man invented it. I really do. Forgive me. I get and I honor the fact that we as women should have choices to do whatever we want. But I think we are so told that by the beauty industry and by marketing and other YouTube channels, other social media, you're not pretty if you don't look a certain way. And then as women, we just keep chasing it. We keep chasing the look. I've seen women say, well, do you see that little wrinkle right there? And you're like, oh my gosh, like that's scary, right? I think that we have got to change the story, stop frightening younger women about age. And then also, if I can continue with all of that, and I can be all over the place. I have so much in my head about skin.
You're fine. Just keep going. I love it.
About what injectables and Botox can do.
Yeah.
A good physician will tell you Botox stops the 42 muscles in your face from working. If you get it in your forehead, you're stopping the other muscles. We have 43 with our neck. So if you stop your muscles from working in your body, what happens? They atrophy, they sag, what have you. That is exactly what happens with Botox. And there are studies that show that Botox can stop working. And I have seen women who have stopped it after doing it for years, and their face is so dropped. So instead of being sold this lie that we're not supposed to smile and have expression and have lines, let's in fact say that those are beautiful things. They say about where we've been, what our journey has been. I think a woman who's more mature, oh my gosh, when I see someone with full gray white hair, and I know a lot of women aren't ready for it, I'm so envious because I've been growing mine for 3 years and it's still not super gray. But I think a woman with some lines and some age looks phenomenal and fabulous. And like she has a story to tell and I want to learn from her, right? So I really think we have to change that story because we look at men where we're told men are beautiful the more gray they get, the more rugged they get, right?
Right.
But we're supposed to at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 look like a 20-year-old. It just doesn't make sense to me. And the sad part about it too is a lot of the 20-year-olds are starting to look so much older than they are, because I think one thing that women need to realize, and men, is that the minute you start doing these things to your face, you actually look older because people recognize it and they see that you're trying to do something. So she must be older because she's already injecting her face. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes it makes great sense. And the thing is too about it is that it's so interesting to me. When I first heard you talking about this, it made so much sense to me because I'm a strength coach. I teach women how to use their muscles. And I know what happens when we don't use our muscles. So the idea of freezing the muscles and understanding that you're not just freezing one muscle, but all the muscles around that muscle that you're, stopping from working because you don't want to see a wrinkle they're all going to be impacted. That really made a lot of sense to me. And it just didn't jive with how I philosophically think about beauty and health and fitness and the body functioning. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And then also the idea that you're getting older and things just sag and there's nothing you can do about it. I work in pelvic health and it's the same kind of lie that women are told, like, oh, well, you're getting older. You should just expect that things should just kind of get lax. It's like, no, there has to be things that we can do about it to actually be caring for the system so the system can continue to function well and not just look the part, and not just perform the way that I want it to perform in this one very specific way. Right?
Correct. The body is such an incredible thing, right? And we know that a trainer can build muscle on our bodies at any age. Right. Now, maybe when we're older, it takes a little bit longer, but the skin is so suggestive. And if we just massage it, okay, just get some massage going. Just like working out, we create blood flow, we oxygenate the skin cells, and therefore we create collagen. That doesn't stop until we die. A really good example would be, I have some arthritis in my feet and I haven't been able to run. So my husband and I got a rower. We had a treadmill, but we decided to get a rower. I'm gonna be 56 years old. Look at that. I mean, I'm just saying, don't tell me you can't create change. It's when you're not willing to, or you're not willing to go as far as you need to go, right? And even if you have allowed your skin to get to a point where you think of no return, I can bring it back every single time. And I think that, this might be digressing or going in a different path, but one thing that really bothers me is my personal industry. You see master estheticians or estheticians in general that do either a fluff facial that really does nothing, or they think they're a plastic surgeon and they're doing all these injectables and they're telling you to do invasive procedures. It really is sad for my industry because really we are supposed to be giving an option that is more natural. Right. And in fact, there are two pretty famous estheticians, master estheticians, and I just found out this week both have had facelifts, lower facelifts, and they showed it. And I thought to myself, you promote all of these tools, you get people to buy all of these products, and then you go and have a facelift? How are we as women and men not smart enough and not wise enough to go, okay, aha moment, this is not right. There has to be, we have to look to different means and different options because they're out there and they work. Drinking water, it's incredible for your skin. Eating an apple, incredible for your skin. You do not need to cut into your face at very deep levels into the muscle and absolutely change the outcome of how you look, and change yourself for what society expects you to be or look like. There are so many beautiful, famous women out there that are allowing themselves to age with grace. And I love it. I love to, Meryl Streep, Sophia Loren, Julia Roberts. A lot of people don't realize that because she's so young. And then there's so many that have really, and I don't really want to say their names because I feel so bad, but they have just absolutely changed who they are and their faces. And Jane Fonda, in fact, said she wished that she hadn't gone so far. And now she's making a big deal about letting her hair go gray because she said, I am no longer going to allow the beauty industry and social media and marketing to define how I am beautiful as a woman. And she really, and I thought that was a wonderful thing. So hopefully I didn't get off pace there a little bit, but we really have got to change the dialogue because aging is a beautiful, miraculous thing. And you don't have to look haggard. You can look amazing. You just have to be willing to put in the time, just like eating well, exercising, or anything else of value for our bodies.
I think it's an opportunity for all of us too, because the fact of the matter is like how we're only in our 20s for like 10 years out of our entire lives. And then we're supposed to spend the rest of our lives trying to do things to look like we're in our 20s. I never want to be in my 20s ever again. I'm so, I'm like, I love being in my 40s. I love the experiences I have. I don't color my hair. I mean, it's like all different colors because it gets lighter in the sun, but I'm letting my grays come in. Like I want to be enjoying being in my body. And I think the thing that you're talking about with some of this invasive stuff is that it seems like the quick fix, but the quick fix always comes at a cost and it looks funny on it long term. It's not sustainable, right? And what you're showing us on your YouTube channel is how to, understand that things take time because you talk about how it takes time to heal the skin, right? But how to cultivate daily practices to help us care for our bodies so that aging is an enjoyable process, and I love that.
Right. And, I think you've probably seen the before and afters. I try to show those as often as I can. It is miraculous, even to me, after all these years, the change someone can get in a week or a month. It's unbelievable when they're willing to open their heart and really listen to a new way of thinking about skin.
I mean, I'm on camera, so you can't really see it. Like I had majorly pronounced forehead lines, like,
yeah.
And I follow you, and I now use Peach's skincare too. And I just couldn't believe it. And I thought, I want everyone to know, because it's okay, I think, to not love. So there's things that come that are just the natural progression with aging. And that's the other thing that I think is interesting. Not everything that's happening to people's skin is, and this is the same on fitness too. It's not about age as much as it's how long you've been doing something. And so if you have been like moving your shoulder with a dysfunctional pattern and your shoulder doesn't work anymore, it's not because you're old, it's because you've been doing something for a long time. And if I've been stripping my skin and not feeding it and caring for it, right, then that's what I'm seeing. It's not age, right?
Correct. We are only, what did they say? We're only as old as we feel, or whatever the term is.
Right.
When you just give up as a woman, and I know we should be saying this about men as well, but they just don't get the bad rap. They know.
Oh, my husband had gray hair, wrinkles. I mean, he's handsome as can be.
Yeah, well, you look so rugged and fabulous. Where I get at a dinner party, why are you letting your hair go gray? And I'm thinking to myself, why not? And I'm looking around at everyone around me now. I don't want to sound like I'm judging because I'm really not, but I see women really putting dark dye on their hair because they're so afraid to show gray. I see women that really are trying a little too hard because they're so afraid. And I get it. I want to go over and give them a hug and say, let go of everything you've been taught and listen to me. Because, okay, we're told we have oily skin, dry skin, combination skin, so that we'll buy every product on earth, right? You all have normal skin. It's what you do to it daily, weekly, and monthly that changes it. Foundation and concealer. There is a new foundation and concealer coming out so much that there's actually a really popular YouTube personality that was able to do a foundation video every week. I don't know if she still does, but that's how much it comes out. And all of them tell us as women, ooh, cover it up, make it look flawless. What is the term? They use glass skin. That is so not a real thing. Allow your skin to breathe, allow your skin to show. And it's hard to listen to someone who is completely telling you something different. Exfoliate every day. If you don't exfoliate gently every day, your skin calluses, just like the heels of your feet or your elbows or your knees. So the reason you saw such a huge difference is because you started exfoliating away all of that old tissue. New tissue is always underneath. It's just that we have to get to it. And people try to tell you don't exfoliate, it's bad for your skin, but they're also the same people telling you to inject or do lasers, right?
Right.
Your skin is a pretty, like I said, very suggestive organ, a very smart organ. And if you sit there and throw all kinds of additives at it or things that it's not ready for, or you laser and burn it, what's it going to do? It's going to thicken and to protect itself. And again, you're going to look like you have more lines. People don't realize that the dark spots are still there underneath the thick burned skin. So all I want women to understand is you can create as much change as you want to create. If you want to lose 5 pounds this month, you can do it if you want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you change your eating, you can do it if you want to, but how far do you want to go? And that's the result that you'll get. It just breaks my heart that we're seeing 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, and that we had to have a law that said no one under 18 can get Botox. We had to have a law for that.
No, that's terrible.
That's terrible, right? I think it's how you present yourself. And you were saying that you're loving your 40s. The confidence that comes with being mature and having gone through things and realizing that things will work out fine. Don't stress, or just embracing yourself and feeling confident. We've all seen, and I'm just going to use a bigger woman because I think they get a bad rap, but we've all seen a bigger woman who just walks into a room and she's got, she's just looking amazing. And we're all looking around going, wow, she's what the world would consider to be overweight or big, and she's rocking it right now. And it's all about attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
So changing our attitude, changing the reality of the story of aging, and then really turning off people that are negative or showing you visuals that, why do we think that the visuals we see on social media and different platforms are real? They're filtered, they're using lights, they're using so much makeup. It's an unattainable goal, and it really is harming, I think, a whole generation of women.
I agree. It's very frustrating. It's happening in all respects. I think with like the standards that people feel pressure to keep their homes perfect, their wardrobe is like, has to be the most designer, latest fashion, right? Their bodies have to be, perfect. And it's unfortunate because then people are spending so much time trying to keep up some kind of facade or chase a fantasy that doesn't exist, that they're not living their life. And that's the other thing I love about what you're talking about, because when you live your life, you do get expressions on your face. Like, you want people to know you're having fun and not be like, I don't know if she's enjoying herself because her face is frozen.
All the time. All the time I see that. They just look very angry.
Yeah.
They say you have 11s that we look angry. That's not true. When you have no expression and you can't laugh, it's just not a good thing. It's just, I think you don't look happy, or you look angry. Like you said, you can't tell if you're having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, youth, there's a beauty that comes with youth, but it's not the only form of beauty. And so I really just appreciate what it is that you're doing and you're telling people. And because I do think a lot of women, they don't know how to take care of their skin. When I was a girl, my mom brought me to estheticians who would teach me how to do this. Now I kind of got distracted and lost some of that stuff, which is probably why when I saw you, I was like, this is a woman that knows what she's talking about, because I knew what to look for, you know? So I'm thankful to my mom that she did that. But a lot of people don't. They like Noxzema and Clean and Clear has taught them how to take care of their skin, you know?
Yeah.
And if those, I mean, maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know if those things still exist.
So, or we touched on in the beginning, someone who has no knowledge of skin and it's their hobby, and thousands of people are listening to them about what to wash with. It just makes no sense, but you're not dating yourself. It's so true.
People are like, what's Noxzema? So because and I'm going to point people to your channel so they can see some of the simple skincare methods that you have, but like, what are some of the simplest things that you encourage women in your community to start doing to help to reveal that healthier skin underneath? You mentioned exfoliation. Like, are there things that we can be doing at home? Like if somebody's listening right now and they're like, I'm going to pause the show, I'm going to go put something on my face, what could they possibly do, and you know, internal or externally, to help promote better skin, without even getting to the part where they buy your products?
Yeah. Well, and we can talk about that, but it's more that I just saw where there was an opening for healthy products.
Yeah.
People do not understand how the term clean beauty, Korean beauty, those are all marketing terms. And so we can get into that, but people are not feeding their skin, largest organ of the body. And one of the easiest things you could do right now, I'll give you two things. Go and drink a lot of water. You will be shocked at what your skin will look like in an hour. Sorry, I think another thing would be go and get some Manuka honey and crush 6 aspirin, because that's natural salicylic acid. So crush the 6 aspirin. I use a little pestule, I think they call it, and I add about a tablespoon of Manuka honey. It has to be Manuka honey from New Zealand. It's healing. It's really incredible. Mix them together and just put them on your face. I mix them with a spoon and I put it on with the back of the spoon. You will be shocked at how the salicylic acid will gently eat away that callus layer. Not all of it, but a little bit. Remember, this does take time. And how the Manuka honey will hydrate and be so healing that, for example, rosacea, eczema, and psoriasis are some of the most overly diagnosed skin diseases. And most people diagnose themselves, self-diagnosis. I see this all the time. When really, all it is active fungus on our face. We have bacteria and fungus always on our skin. It's when we leave an opening for it, or I always use things in layman's terms. I don't use all these charts and things, but you scratch your face, you leave an opening for bacteria and fungus. You put a bunch of foundation on your face and your skin is kind of feeling yucky, you leave an opening for fungus and bacteria. And so it's amazing how many times that is not rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, where you need this pill. Simply putting a Manuka honey mask on will help. And I also, digressing, and it kind of has to do with this, go look in the mirror and look at your neck compared to your face. If your face is the only place you have severe acne or really mottled skin, or it looks very discolored, but your neck looks great, that's something you're doing to it and you're not even realizing it. And I do believe women, it's foundation and concealer, and it's all the junky products that are out there.
Wow, that's a very interesting point. So the funny thing is that I feel like I was always taught that foundation and concealer protected your skin.
Such a lie.
Okay.
Yeah. I have people come on and go, well, I think it protects my skin, or, it's just so not true. Moisturizer protects your skin. Your serums protect your skin. Eye cream protects your skin because they're antioxidants. Now, Harvard University did a study, it's probably been in the past 10 years. It's what we base our skincare on, actually, and I always knew this. And it was about antioxidants are the one thing that can create change in the skin. And then they showed thousands of products. And I remember it being all over the floor. And these are all products that are out there that can't even get into a layer of skin at all. Like they just sit on top. And it really spoke to me because I thought I could eat an Oreo cookie right now and it might fill my stomach, but it's not going to give me any nutritional value, right? Mm-hmm. Hope that right. But I can go and eat an apple and I'm going to see changes. It's the same with your skincare. And I think that what people don't understand is retail has to be watered down. It's filled with color and fragrance. I don't care if it's a huge brand where it's $120 a moisturizer, has to be watered down. Professional is something you get from your physician or your master esthetician. And hopefully she has her own products. She's not using something that's really bulk or, made in mass production. And then medical grade, another marketing term that people use, medical grade is only what your doctor can write a prescription for. That's it. There's no fancy product out there. If it says, doctor suggested or medical grade, it really is another lie being sold to us. So I think that it's just so important to understand that, to open your heart to a new way of thinking. And you said that your mom took you to an esthetician. I wanted to touch on that. When you're looking at an esthetician, look at her skin. Does she have tons of filler, right? Has she done something invasive to her face? Because if she does, then how is she possibly going to teach you how to naturally change your skin, right? Unless you're going to her for Botox and things, I suppose.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, and to any of those women out there that are doing that, I am still a place of value for you. In the past, I'd say 35, 36 years, have had a couple physicians, plastic surgeons send clients to me prior to getting facelifts where the client still went and did the facelift. Most times we talk them out of it and the doctors are great with it because, they want them to, they're ethical, okay? But the couple that went and still did the facelift, the doctors both called me and said their skin was in the best shape of anyone they'd ever, cut into, and they got a better result. And then two, the client afterwards was happier with the result, although they'll tell you it wasn't at all what they expected. So what is my point there? Just be aware of who you're seeing. And would we go to a trainer that was over in the corner drinking Coke and eating cookies, right? Well, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's the best advertisement. And that's why I think it's so great the way that you show up in your social media and just say, I don't wear makeup. I don't have foundation on. This is my skin. And it is gorgeous, but it's also not artificial looking, right?
Nope, this is real. You're going to see if I have, in fact, I have a little something here because I had to have an N95 mask on for several hours the other day. And I caught in between it, but it still got me a little bit, mask acne, and I normally never have an issue, but I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you that it's there. I'm not going to try and cover it up. And the funny part is it's been 24 hours and it's already like almost gone because I know how to take care of it. So I think that there is value. I hope people find me through this, but there is value in being real. I hope.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, when I found you and I heard your information, like I would say like 65% of it was the value was in the learning and the information that I like giving me actionable steps that I could start to use right away. But honestly, Lisa, like a big piece of it was just going and seeing you talk about how beauty, like how we need to redefine beauty and how you show up the way that you do. I just found it encouraging. I'm like, yeah, we can all do this for each other, right? We can all do this. We can all I can be honest about what I look like and I can show my face and not try and hide things and embrace aging naturally. And I hate that even the word aging has such a negative connotation because it's silly, I mean, aged wine, aged cheese, like things get better with age, right?
Right? Those are connotations where, we age as a woman and longer beautiful, no longer pretty.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but I think that people will benefit not just from the actual information, but I would just, when I was struggling, when I was just starting to kind of take care of my skin in a new and different way based on, your tips, I just enjoyed watching the videos because it encouraged me. Yes, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. There is value in this. And your skin is beautiful. It doesn't look the same as it did when you were 22 and I did a ton of crap to my skin, but that doesn't mean that it's not salvageable and that it's not beautiful anymore, so.
Actually, and the funny part is I actually think my skin looks better. I may not have the fattiness that I did in my 20s. I still have collagen. I'm still able to keep it. And, you know, with my facial yoga and things, lift my muscles. But I actually feel like my skin is healthier because I've learned so much. And so we really have to get away from we were better when we were younger. Let's start saying we're better as we get older. That's what I'd like to see. And I think that it's, you know, I have a difficult time on the beauty channels. I really do, because they're all talking foundation and injectables and things like that. They do not support what I do. And I think it's because there's a little fear there that, oh, what she's saying is right and what she's saying is accurate. And oh my goodness, if I back this up, everything I've taught for so long is not going to be valid anymore. And I think that that's a good thing. Like, how many women, you know, the pandemic has been yucky in a lot of ways, and maybe there's been some, you know, silver linings to it. I wouldn't have come on YouTube, you know, that I came on purely because my salons were shut down, and it really has affected our businesses. To anyone wondering, I have 3 salons. I have one in Santa Barbara, Naples, Long Beach, and Montgomery, Ohio. So you can trust me, I know what I'm doing. And so I think there, you know, there's a silver lining to this with that, but also look at how many women couldn't get out, couldn't wear makeup. I got so many emails and comments saying, I haven't worn makeup in 6 months and my skin's never looked better, or I'm just going to let my gray hair sparkle show. And I love walking around, and I bet you're seeing it too, and just seeing these women and going, oh my God, she looks fabulous, right? I think that there's a tide turning. I think something's happening.
Well, I absolutely hope so, because it's exhausting to have to, you know, hide the truth, right? And not just embrace who you are. And whether that's somebody struggling to, you know, be a size 4 rather than a muscular, strong, capable size 8 or 10, or somebody that's, you know, in their 50s trying to look like they're 25 again, like whatever it is, it's just like, let's just give it up. You know, it's not worth it.
Go and feed the homeless, or go and educate young women, or be a better mother, be a better wife. But stop changing who you are to make everyone feel better.
Yeah.
Just you. Not coloring your hair. How wonderful is it? I used to have to go in every 3 weeks and put this dye on my hair. And then I started losing clients and friends through the years to breast cancer, to different cancers. And I thought, wait a minute here. This is really interesting, because is all the makeup and all the color and all the acrylics, is that poisoning us as women? And I have to tell you, I think it is. And I we're aware of what we eat. I listened to, and I'm not going to remember her name, but she is a breast cancer physician. So she's an oncologist. And she said, all of the hair dye, all of these things, we have studies that show it's not good for us. And yet we are continuing to put it on ourselves. It does get into the bloodstream. I've had people yell at me on social media about that. It does. Go look it up. They found in the umbilical cords of babies and in teenagers, in their hormones, that it was a disruptor. They are showing that these chemicals are in the umbilical cord of babies, that it's a hormone disruptor for teenagers. We have to stop painting ourselves and pretending that, or not pretending. I just love how you said it. It's exhausting. Just who you are and love who you are. You don't need to be a Barbie doll. And then also, what message are you sending to the young women and men around you? Right?
Right. I know. Well, that's the funny thing about, I think women are concerned about like what their husbands or their boyfriends or just men are going to think in general. And I'm like, we are really underestimating the power we have to train the culture, yes. You know, and we can all be like, this is as good as it gets. This is it.
I have famous men, athletes, you know, the regular guy, they'll tell me 99% of the time, they'll give them a gift certificate to come and see me. make her stop doing the store face, make her stop with the fish lips, make her, she doesn't have expression anymore. She's not the girl I married. I hear this all the time. And I really wish men would start coming forward and saying something. You know, I tell them all the time, go home and tell her how beautiful she is and tell her to stop.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. We don't know the power we have.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of the women in my audience, they tend to try and keep things kind of simple. They're busy moms. They like to spend a lot of time outside taking care of their bodies. Is taking care of your skin, like, can we talk a little bit about your daily routine? Like, does it have to be super time consuming?
Well, I've shown my AM and PM routine a couple times and people are like, oh my God, you know, like I have to remember I'm doing it for a video and so go on. But it takes a minute and a half in the morning, a minute and a half at night. And that's your shower time. That's where I keep my beginning stages of what my products are, like exfoliating to loosen all the dead, dry skin, or I call it debris. At night, for example, is when our body heals itself. It's when our skin, the largest organ of the body, purges out impurities. So in the morning, we want to get rid of that. So exfoliation is important. And at the end of the day, after being in the environment, washing to feed. If I hear one more social media person who has no practical knowledge of skin say that cleanser is not important, it just washes down the sink, I'm going to scream. It's so important. So you do these things in the morning and at night, and it really should only take a minute and a half. It's when I have clients do their massage or their facial yoga, that takes a little bit more time, but I've gotten into my routine is to wash early in the evening if I'm able to, in the shower. My shower is my meditation time. I feel terrible living in Southern California. I use way too much water. I've got to be better, but I'm trying. And then I go downstairs in front of the television, which is kind of my downtime. And that's when I do my facial massage and things. So when people tell me they don't have the time, you really do have the time in the morning and at night. I've had 2 babies and I worked full time. I know what it's like. You have to put the time in. Now, is there a simple way of doing things? Don't put the foundation and concealer on afterwards. Right. You know, don't ignore your skin, because then it's going to take you much longer to change it, right? So I just think that it doesn't take as long as people think. It just doesn't. It's probably like making a healthy meal. It takes as long as it does to go out and order it. So I think getting away from the fact that it has to take a lot of time is something I'm really trying to encourage people this year.
I think it's a paradigm shift for people too, to just like, you have to kind of change your whole value system, because you thought it, you know, if you're trying to do more artificial things, and I feel like people in my audience, there's probably a good mix here of people. I feel like most of the people that are listening, they just don't know what to do. It's like, or they're just buying stuff, or, you know, like you said, you know, they see somebody online or Instagram that's like, oh, I use this. And you're like, oh, well, she's gorgeous, so I'll get whatever she gets, you know? So I think there's probably a lot of people here with that. And what I really want people to understand is, like, no matter what age you're at, to start investing in your skin is the way forward, not to wait and do nothing and then think, oh, well, eventually when I get to a certain age, I will get Botox or fillers, or I'll just embrace the age too. That's the other thing. I think women think they have to settle for just having wrinkly skin at a certain age, when they don't know that there's things that they can be doing now. And so when we shift the conversation to, like, there's a beauty to aging and you don't have to be afraid of it, but like, let's get in front of it and make sure, you know, the skin remains functional. And as you've made the point, it's a gigantic organ that has a purpose outside of just wrapping our bodies and like looking a certain way too, you know?
Right. Well, largest organ of the body. You know, they say, I'm not sure how the term goes, but the eyes are the, what do they say? The eyes are the windows to your soul. Well, your skin tells you when your body's not healthy, when the flora in your gut is not healthy. And so when we don't take care of our skin cannot properly do its job. If it's constantly being suffocated by junky products and kind of poisoned, in my opinion, or not able to breathe and purge things out of the pores, which are really just hair follicles. It's also not able to anti-age, to get rid of bacteria and fungus, to function and clean the system out. So you want to take care of your skin. It's never too late, never ever. One of my oldest clients, he's no longer with us. He was an artist in Laguna Beach. He was 83, 84 years old when he first started coming to me.
Oh, wow.
And the changes were miraculous in just taking the time to clean his skin out, unfortunately. He had struggled with severe acne his whole life, and the doctor just kept giving him pills. And I took, I think the first time, 2 hours just to clean him out. And once you clean the skin and you make the skin healthy, it starts to adhere to the muscle better. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Defines your face more. So I've had clients tell me that people say that they had work done or they had a nose job, but it's really that everything's not so inflamed and sick. So yes, don't, just like when you watch a young person eating whatever they want, and sometimes I'll go, you know, that's going to catch up to you, you know, and we'll be joking about it. It's true. It will catch up to you if you just don't wear a wide-brimmed hat in the sun. Stop wearing the baseball caps because it's not protecting the sides of your face. I was one of the first estheticians to comment about sunscreen in the 80s. I was starting to see more skin cancer when they were telling you to wear more sunscreen. Well, what did we do? We had, less than a year ago, a huge study come out that showed that many sunscreens cause skin cancer or are causing cancer. So they started pulling it off the shelf. Be mindful. Sunscreen, I hear this all the time from dermatologists. The best sunscreen is the sunscreen you'll wear. Not true. The best sunscreen is a sunscreen that's healthy for you. And I only believe in zinc oxide or zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Wash your face, exfoliate, drink water. You absolutely can create change in your body, your mind. As an almost 56-year-old woman, I want to be the best I can be. I'm constantly striving to be a better human and a better woman. I tell my children all the time, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So you want to better yourself, you want to learn. And I think one thing that we have got to learn is to accept who we are, to embrace who we are, accept the line or the wrinkle, but also know we can make it better in a natural way. We are a quick fix society, and all quick fixes are going to do is band-aid it, and you're going to have the same issue in 2, 5, and 10 years.
Amen. I mean, I don't think we can add anything to that. That's brilliant. I love that so much. And, you know, I wanted to make the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
We need to write a book.
Yeah. No, oh my gosh. I mean, and I think the thing that's so amazing too is that, like I already said earlier, I followed your advice and I did the things that you were saying on YouTube, and it made me want to buy your products because I was like, well, if she's giving me advice that works just based on the stuff that I already have, right, how great is the thing that that Lisa's actually like having produced? How great is that going to work, right?
Well, and I want everyone out there to know this is not a marketing ploy. Right. I do have products because I've been in my industry for so long. I had to get with a chemist and say, we can make these better. We don't water them down. They are small batched. I am with my little baby product the whole way, but you also get me. You get my advice. I'm available to my clients. And if I really wanted to be a multimillionaire, which, hey, I want to be able to help society, my family, everyone. I could charge $120 for my moisturizer, but I don't because that's ridiculous. And I can get great ingredients and still charge only $30 or whatever it is. But also they last. When anything, it doesn't have to be mine, but if you're using a product and you're seeing change, something good must be happening. If you're seeing constant change, that means it's really working. When it only works for a little bit, many times it's just that your skin is like, oh, wow, okay, well, this is new. This is a new, you're exfoliating some of the old dead skin cells. It looks better. Yeah. But if it works over time, that's where you know it's doing something. But also, I think that you have to acknowledge the fact that something that is really good lasts long. Like you should only have to use a little drop of it. And I think most people are just shocked that, for example, when you use my cleanser, you use just a little bit because it's so pure. I'm not sure that I verbalize that very well, to be very honest, but so much of what's out there, you have to use so much of it, or it's just so watered down. I do hope that people see in my products that there is a difference, that it does create change. It is small batched, and it absolutely works and lasts. When something lasts, to me, it just seems like it's more natural, right? Blueberries make a difference. Pomegranate makes a difference. Acids that are unnatural don't make a difference. Adulterated products that have chemically altered things in them, that's not good for you. Your skin is smart. It wants the good stuff. It's going to purge out all the bad stuff. I hope I explained that well.
Yeah, no, I think that makes really good, it makes sense, because it's the same thing in fitness. I would say to people, it's like, it's always the minimum effective dose, but you have to be consistent with it. Right.
Yeah,
and so so your products, it's like, you don't need a large volume of it because it packs a punch. But as you're saying, you know, as you use it over time, it just keeps getting better and better if you're consistent with it. And all the things, all of your skincare recommendations, I think the consistency is key. You know, once I was like, okay, I need to exfoliate every single day when I wake up, and understanding that that's going to prevent a callus layer of skin from developing, which is going to stop me from being able to feed my skin and show, you know, healthier skin cells. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can be consistent with that, you know? And so I think that's a very interesting thing, and a marker of a good product or a good coach or a professional. Someone is like, you don't have to do a ton of extra complicated stuff, but you have to be consistent with what I'm telling you to do.
But I, you know, in all fairness, you know, if you see, I have a prescription sheet, and when you go on the website, you go to the back or frequently asked questions page, and you can download it. And people will say, oh my gosh, there's so many things on here. There is a purpose for everything. Unfortunately, you do need an eye cream. A lot of people give you misinformation about needing an eye cream. You need an eye cream. That is a delicate area. You want to have certain ingredients like vitamin K, vitamin E, things like that. But there is a purpose to everything used. Also, whether it's my products or something else, stick to a family. When chemists mix these things, they mix them to work together. When you use something with another product, you can have a chemical reaction. You don't know what's in that product. And don't think that just because a cream is $250 or $150, it is going to create some miraculous change on you. You might see something for a week or so, but then again, it's just your skin saying, oh, wow, you're hydrating me more than you ever have, or you've gotten rid of a few skin cells. But what you'll find is over time, many of these things really don't pack that punch, as you said, over time. And so there is a reason to everything. If you choose a product, stick with a family. And then too, I think that these people that work at the different counters work so hard. I admire them so much, but they're not master estheticians. They haven't had practical knowledge of touching skin. I worked with Clinique, I worked with Estee Lauder, I worked with Lancome. You're taught how to sell that product. And I think that there's value in listening to your esthetician or listening to someone, even a physician who doesn't, the minute you walk in the office, go, you know, you could use a little Botox, or, hey, you've got that little brown spot over there, let's laser it off, right?
Right.
There's value to someone telling you to do how to use something, having the knowledge of how to take care of skin and use something. And I think there's value in listening to that.
Yes, I agree.
100%. Marketing campaign for Peaches Skincare. That's all too. I think it's fabulous, but.
Yeah, well, and I think it's neat because, you know, like I said, I got started with the apple cider vinegar and the baking soda, and I use castor oil, and I still use those things. But I love that your products are just, I was like, if you need to feed your skin, you want a vitamin C that's formulated for the skin to actually absorb it, you know, and all the other things that you mentioned, right? And so I was like, well, this woman seems to know what she's doing, and everything I do that is, you know, all of your advice has worked really well for me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take the next step and use the products. And so I think anybody here, you guys know me, like I'm just going to be straight with you about what I think. But I think people just need to head over to your YouTube channel and do one of your skin challenge. Are you doing one now? I think I just saw one.
I'm doing one for January, and I'm trying to do very short little videos on what you just said earlier. What little things can we do to create change in our skin? And the funny part is, I don't even think I mentioned my products. I mean, maybe I do, but really there's so many things that you can do right this second that will absolutely change your skin. If you're willing to set aside your ego, willing to set aside everything you've ever been taught about skin, open your heart and you will be blown away. And to anyone who does come over, go look at some of the before and afters that I've posted. We have not doctored those in any way. They are miraculous. They are amazing.
Yes. And I love what you're saying. And it is, you do have to agree to a little bit of vulnerability to show your face if you've been kind of holding on to the security blanket of various makeups, you know, for a really long time. And, or maybe you don't. I know a lot of women that I've worked with and that are in my community, they never wear makeup. They never do anything to their face. They're like, I splash some water on it, you know? And so for you all, like, I think it would be a really fun adventure to see like, wow, there are things that I can do to put on my face to feed my skin and showcase like my beauty. I am beautiful. I have a beautiful face. I should take care of it.
We don't all have the same nose. We don't all have the same eyebrows. We don't all have the same eyes. And that's the beautiful, beautiful thing about being a human. And I think that as women, you are enough, you are beautiful, you create life if you want to. You are many times the thermometer in your household, whether you realize it or not. You are being looked to by other women and other men, possibly your children. Stop telling them the nose you were given is not beautiful, the eyes you were given are not beautiful. And I am not going to erase the fact that I love to be active. I love to ride my bike. I love to be on the water and in the ocean. I'm going to wear a wide-brimmed hat, but I'm not going to erase that fact that I've had pain in my life and joys in my life. And when we erase who we are, I think that's where the problem comes. And just kind of, you know, to add to the end of this, I don't know if you ever saw my video on Justine Bateman's book. It was called Face. And Justine Bateman has done nothing to her face. She also not worn a hat, but that's okay. She's than maybe she should be, but that's okay. But her point is why she was just bombarded with people saying she looked so old and she didn't look good. And then other people were so impressed. It's like there was a recent picture of Sarah Jessica Parker and she was having lunch with Andy Cohen and they showed her gray hair and people went crazy. Why? And Andy Cohen's hair is fully gray. No one said anything about him. We have got to start letting people know, hey, we're enough, and have the attitude of we're enough and embrace it. Love yourself. Yes, you can make yourself better, but don't change who you are for society's rules on women. They've been telling us for centuries what we're supposed to do with ourselves. Stop. Enough. Be who you are and be happy about who you are. And as I say, wabi sabi, embracing the imperfections of life in ourselves and in aging, a beautiful, miraculous gift that many people don't ever get.
Thank you so much, Lisa. That is so beautiful. And I love this, exactly why I wanted to have you on, because I feel like you've managed to take something that can sometimes be considered a superficial topic and tie it to, I mean, the way that you're showing women how to care for themselves gets to the heart of like valuing ourselves in the right ways and not letting the culture dictate to what we look like and who we are, either inside or outside. And so that was why I wanted everybody to hear from you, because I want them to hop on over to YouTube and become an addict just like me.
That helped me grow. Yeah. So we can get the word out is really what it is.
So I'm going to link to all of your website and your YouTube channel and everything, but will you just tell us what it is in case somebody's listening and so they can just quickly look it up?
The Peaches is Peaches Skincare YouTube, if that's what you're asking. Instagram is also Peaches Skincare and Facebook is Peaches Skincare, but I answer everyone mostly on YouTube. So if you have any question or any comment, I always answer you as long as it's done with love and kindness. You can have a consultation with me. It is free. We do have some you can buy online, but I don't think I've ever charged anyone lately. It's complimentary. Once I become your master esthetician, you have my phone number. You're able to talk with me, send pictures, text me. I love it. And it's my passion. It is my gift. And I just want to spread the word. And I am so grateful for you giving me this platform today to even touch one person. It almost makes me emotional that you believe in me, and I am an anomaly, and I need to have more people believing in what I'm preaching, if you will, and getting that word out.
Yes. Well, I believe, and I know after this episode, you're going to have a lot more believers here at Dirty String Radio. So
I'd
thank
love to.
you. Yes. Oh yeah. I would love that too. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you so much.